Okay, so what's up, everybody? So I don't really have like a little prologue comment to make on this one.
Wow.
Anyways, my name is Michael Stephenson. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is part of my entertainment industry series. I'm trying to do some of these videos sequentially. So if this is your first time viewing one of my videos, I please ask that you go back and view the beginning videos in which I establish some sort of like vocabulary and whatnot. I established some principles and things that I then refer back to in some of my most recent videos. Okay, so I kind of want to jump into this one. I just got done filming another video and I just didn't even feel like putting an actual ending to that video. I think my camera just cut off in the middle of a comment and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it as that. I kind of said everything that I wanted to anyway. But this is sort of on the same topic as that video, which is why I'm trying to do it in the same day. This is the topic of controversy as it pertains to the talent involved with a particular piece of entertainment. Here's one of the things. We know that as of late especially, but really throughout all of history, there has always been, especially in the entertainment industry, but in other industries as well, a certain level of reliance upon other people within, I guess you could say, your team not being stupid, so to speak, okay? Or in other words, not ruining it for everybody. One bad apple will ruin the whole bunch. And so I was trying to think of a good, more recent example of this. And honestly, I couldn't think of one specific one, but I would say this. There are a lot of examples throughout history. There are plenty in sports. There are plenty in film and in television as well, in which one bad apple ruins the bunch and it really sort of can crater a project. So, what do I mean by this? Let's go back and let's just, I guess, explore this topic from its ground roots. We know that when you're making any sort of TV show or film or what have you, you have multiple people involved, usually stars, co-stars, some character actors to fill in the rest of what's going on in the film, etc., etc. You have director, you have all these people who are like top line people. They are the people, they're the ones who are going to be interviewed the most during press tours and what have you when these films or TV shows finally do come out. So they are the ones who are asked to promote whatever it is that they were in, whatever it is they were part of making. In my opinion, promotion is actually the hardest part of the job, and it is definitely part of the job. The creation of something, yes, that can be difficult, but it's the promotion of something because you are, for the most part, unscripted at that point in time. Once you start showing a little bit of your own personality, especially on these super long days in which you have to sit in one room, in one chair, while a ton of people come in and out of the room to interview you, etc., etc., that can get very frustrating for a lot of people. And a lot of, most of us, quote unquote, commoners do not know just how frustrating it can get. Let me tell you, just being an author and trying to put together things like online book tours, blog tours, things of that nature. All of that stuff is frustrating as well. I don't even do it for all of my books. So it's like I have to really sort of get up and put a lot of thought and a lot of energy into doing it for a book. And even the process of trying to book people for it, all of that, it weighs very heavily on me. And then actually doing the tour, all that stuff, it's a lot. It's a lot. So things can get a little hectic. They could get a little frustrating, and like I said, once you start showing your personality, that's when things can sometimes go off the rails. So what we've had in most recent years is that we have had a lot of, for lack of a better word, a lot of just really dumb questions being asked by interviewers to the talent, whether it's directors or actors or what have you. And we have a lot of actors and actresses, unfortunately, answering these. Not only do they answer these questions, but they answer them, it seems like, either honestly or in an incredibly sarcastic way. And that can ruin a lot of stuff. Like, I hate to say it, but it can ruin a lot of things. Them answering in certain ways can ruin stuff because it can rub fans, it can rub people the wrong way and give people a bad interpretation of who that star is and what they stand for and how they live and how they want to live their lives, how they want to interact with people, etc., etc. So a star like one of the most recent stars, even though I don't think they had a project coming out at that time, maybe they did. It was Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant was being interviewed, I believe, at the Oscars. It was at one of the award shows. And a lot of people came out and said, "Oh my God, Hugh Grant was so rude to the interviewer, and it didn't feel like he wanted to be there." He was making a lot of like sarcastic, sort of biting comments. Now, for those of you who actually know Hugh Grant, like not personally, but who actually have followed his career, you should know that Hugh Grant he's kind of a terrible person. He has said it himself multiple times. Like, listen, that whole charming British guy that you see me as on the big screen in the films and the television shows that I am, that's not me. If anything, he has said multiple times in recent years that the character that he played on the HBO show The Undoing, where he was a cheating husband, on that show, that was, I guess, closer to him. Not like I guess the cheating part, yeah, because he has cheated before on a famous love interest, but also just the utter sort of displeasure, disdainful, kind of almost arrogant bravado about him. He has that naturally. And he has kind of come out and said it multiple times before, like, yeah, I'm not an easy person to be around. And so he has, over the years, said quite a few fairly nasty things to co-stars, about people he's worked with, and when being interviewed, he's said a lot of those things out loud. And it has affected not only his public persona, but how people feel about him and about the work that he does in general. It's affected that in a not very good way. To take that even further, sometimes it doesn't actually even have to be, as we know, it doesn't have to be the actual comments of someone involved in a particular project. It doesn't have to be recent comments of them, but it could just be the actions that they have taken that can make people go like, oh, I don't want to associate with that person. I don't care what it is they're in. I just don't want to have anything to do with them. I know for me, recently, that has been Ezra Miller. Look, number one, I know that The Flash at this point has already come out. I vowed that I would not go to see that in theaters solely because of Ezra Miller. Not only did I not like the fact that they cast him, for me, he doesn't feel like a Barry Allen, especially after having taken in Grant Gustin for so long. But on top of that, so like, I just didn't like the casting of Ezra Miller, but I tried to give him a chance in not the Batman v Superman, but the Justice League film. I tried to give him a chance in that. But even then, the actions that he's taken, slamming this girl on the ground, and just being outside weird, and it feels like he didn't really want to get any sort of help or whatever, because I don't know if he was actually dealing with some sort of mental problem. And I feel like, again, this is not to denigrate anybody who has mental problems. I've had mental problems before, but I feel in some ways like we're using that almost as a coverall for any kind of bad behavior, when sometimes people are just a-holes. And I always got that sense from Ezra, that he has nothing mentally wrong with him. He's just an a-hole naturally. And so I was like, seeing all the things that have happened where he's like throwing chairs at people in a bar. I think there were even some women where there were some people who accused him of like keeping women captive or something. I was just like, no, it's a no for me. I don't want to support him. I don't want to support anything that he's in, because he just doesn't seem like he just doesn't seem like he's getting the point. And the fact that Warner Brothers was like, we're for whatever reason, we're going to stick with him, but we're going to do away with all these other people. They got rid of Johnny Depp from out of Fantastic Beasts. And so I'm like, well, okay, I guess, because even though I thought Amber Heard always gave off that sort of a-hole sort of mentality to me too. So I didn't even like her in Stepfather way back in the day, but I could understand why they got rid of Johnny Depp. But then, yeah, we're still going to keep Ezra Miller. What? Why? It just didn't make any sense to me. And so that kind of ticked me off even more, which was, I don't want to support this movie. I still like Warner Brothers and everything that they do, and I definitely still want to work for them in the future. But I can't support this final movie. And then it made it much easier for me not to support it, especially because we're just going to reboot everything anyway with James Gunn. Well, okay, I'll just wait for that, and I'll see The Flash. I'll just see that on Max streaming service when it comes out. My point in doing this video is that from an artist and entertainer's perspective, this has oftentimes been one of the worst things, and it's one of my top 5 fears in the industry, in entering into the industry. For many years, it has been understood in Hollywood that you have the main star, right? But then also, if you pair an older main star with like a younger star, or with a younger actor or actress who's in a key role, you could potentially make that person into a star as well. And so my whole big worry for years has been like, what if I, as an actor, what if I appeared in something that it already had a super big actor or actress attached to it, and then that person acts a fool in real life, which basically craps all over my supposed breakout or starring role, right? Like, I'm supposed to suddenly, in this role that I'm in their film, I'm supposed to be the breakout star. And everybody's supposed to be like, whoa, man. Like, yeah, so-and-so was really good in that film, but did you see this new guy? Oh my God, he took it over. He was amazing, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. If the star then acts a fool and puts a weird dust, a film of bad blood and just, that nasty, poor taste into the mouth of enough fans who are like, yeah, I don't think I want to go see this because I don't want to support him or her or whoever, then what happens to my star-making role? Naturally, it no longer has the kind of impact and probably doesn't have the same effect as it would have previously if there was no sort of controversy around the film due to the actual main star. I feel that way, honestly, about the woman who's playing Supergirl in The Flash. As I said, I know that the film is already out for you guys now, so it's probably been out for a few months even, and I didn't see it, but the commercials looked like she was potentially being set up as this breakout star. And now I'm sure that the film did some big bank, because there's lots of people who don't know anything about the Ezra Miller controversies or anything like that. So I'm sure that it served its purpose. But for me, if that had happened to some other film, maybe it wasn't a comic book film, maybe it was something else, I don't know. Like, she's in it and it's supposed to be her breakout role. People in the industry are quietly saying, yeah, you need to look at this person because she's going to be this big star. She's going to be amazing. She's going to be blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then the film sort of comes out and everybody is saying, yeah, I'm not seeing it because that star did this, that would be such an incredible disappointment and huge frustration in my life. And I know, look, I'm sure there are stars who would be honest about it now, but I know that there are probably some people who they 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 might have suffered through that kind of a thing, to where it was like, yeah, I thought that this is going to be my breakout role, and some stupid crap happened with one of the leads of the film, and that basically just crashed the whole film for like everybody. And so we put in some amazing performances. We were great in this film. We were great in this TV show. We were doing our thing. And then stupidity happened, stupidity hit, and bam, everything was ruined for us. That is my fear on both sides, honestly, to be somebody who's in someone else's project, but then also on the flip side, to be someone who is directing, writing, starring in, and producing a project, and for it to be, I'm setting it up for somebody else to become a huge star, or to take their stardom to the next level, and then I say or do something really stupid, or something from my past comes up and it's like, oh wow, we're not going to support it anymore, and then this person is just out there sitting there. It's not a end all be all thing, but we do know it's not an end all be all thing, in that they most likely are going to get work again as an actor or as an actress. But we all do know that being a working actor or actress as opposed to being a star is very different. Being a celebrity and being a star are two incredibly different things. So when you have something that is supposed to be a star-making vehicle, so to speak, and somebody else, or it's a breakout role even, and somebody else comes along and screws that up for you, I just could. The worst part is that I can't say that I couldn't imagine, because I definitely can imagine, and that's the worst. That's one of the worst feelings out there. Oh my God! Just every time I think about it, it gets me nervous. It gets me nervous. So that's just one of the things that I want to talk about, just from a inside the industry perspective. That again, while we as consumers are thinking about, are we going to support this star or not anymore, just know and understand that there are so many other people who work on one particular piece of entertainment that is, I get not supporting the star, but just make sure that, well, I guess there's nothing really that we can do about it, right? Like, there's nothing really that we can do about it. I just don't even have like I just wish that, well, I guess I'm going to talk about this in another video, the whole separation of church and state, so to speak. Can you separate the artist from their art, the entertainer from their entertainment? Because some people's careers are made and broken off of these decisions. So again, the woman who's playing Supergirl, maybe this is going to be her breakout role. I don't know if I've ever heard of her before. Same thing goes for the woman who was supposed to play Batwoman, I think, or was it Batgirl? I'm not sure. Batgirl or Batwoman, and that film was ultimately canceled. She already had a breakout role, but I think that was supposed to kind of push her forward even more. And now she won't get to do it. And that was just for tax purposes, right? But it was just solely a money issue. I don't even know which is worse. I think they're both horrendous, but I almost feel like the one in which you have to rely on other people not being their worst selves, I think that is potentially worse. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think that factors into it, whether actors or actresses or people in the entertainment industry as a whole, whether they know it or not, or whether they even want to admit it or not. But when you hear them in interviews talking about how they want to do good work and work with good people, I think that's part of it. Like, I want to work with people who I am almost sure are not going to take this $100 million+ project and ultimately crash it simply by doing or saying something outside of the film that is really, really dumb. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to share with you guys one of my fears and one of the things that I have always looked at as being like, it is always an icky subject for me. So yeah, I really don't have anything else that I want to say right now on that. I need to go and take my walk. So yeah, let me get out. Hey everybody. So while I don't have an official sign off yet, I guess I should do the whole please like, comment, share, and if you so desire and you want to see more, subscribe. But more importantly, I will ask that you please, please, please go and purchase one of my books. They are mostly ebooks and pretty much they are all under $10. See if any of my work is actually any good, if it lives up to any of the things that I'm talking about here on my channel, specifically with the entertainment industry videos. So please go purchase my books. All of my links are down below. Thank you.